And very good. Well done, my dear, on your homework. You seem to have retained everything very well since last time.
I've been studying.
It shows. But now I want to know more about you. How have you been doing? I can see you've been surviving all right.
I've been doing well. I've been not accepting bottled fluids and staying away from the flower section of the supermarket.
Good.
I kind of had a close call with a Reese's peanut butter cup the other day. But other than that, I've been fine.
And how, may I ask, did you get your hands on said Reese's peanut butter cup?
It was a free sample.
And there's your first mistake, talking with strangers. My dear, I'm about to give you a very important lesson on strangers. So tell me, what did he look like? Was he tall?
Yes.
Was he wearing dark colors?
It was definitely colors.
What about his face? Did he have any prominent facial features?
I guess.
Did he look intimidating?
From afar, maybe.
What was he wearing?
He was wearing cargo shorts and a shirt that said Aloha.
There it is. Now it all lines up. That garish Hawaiian garb is the only reason you survived, my dear. Now, had he been wearing a dark cape, for example, you might have been done for.
A dark cape?
My dear, strangers are very important to you as a protagonist. They are an integral part of your story, yes, but only if you learn to navigate around them wisely.
But why a dark cape?
You have to read the signs, the patterns, the archetypes. Like protagonists, there are a few key types when it comes to strangers, and it's important to learn to recognize them so you can easily identify which ones are likely harmless and which ones you really, really must avoid. I trust you brought that notebook again?
Yeah, got it.
Good. You're going to need it. Now pay attention. Firstly, of course, are your extras. These don't fit into any particular archetype and won't do too much to further your plot either. However, they will respond and react to you, often raising a singular, well-meaning gesture in your general direction as you pass by. Though not always integral to your plot, these characters will almost always be well-intentioned towards you and will support you in your various protagonist endeavors. So it is important as a protagonist to make friends and acknowledge them whenever possible, and treat them with the respect they duly deserve. That is your responsibility as a protagonist. So those are your extras, and the man in Hawaiian garb who gave you the Reese's peanut butter cup was likely one of them. Well-intentioned, but not integral. But now let's discuss strangers who might hold a more prominent place in your story. Let's begin with suspicious men, particularly ones with capes. These characters are particularly difficult because they can often be mistaken for a potential love interest, who are also known to be frequent cape wearers. But don't be misled. Should you refuse their attentions, which you likely will if you're smart, it will almost immediately reveal their true colors, which won't end well for you. When faced with your rejection, they may attempt to abduct you, murder your true love, or in severe cases may even curse you to become an animal. A bird, perhaps, during specific hours of the day. These characters often lurk in the shadows and could be a variety of different suspects. A nobleman, perhaps, a prince from a distant kingdom, or even an evil sorcerer. But in any case, suspicious men, particularly ones with capes, should be avoided at all costs. So those are our suspicious men with capes. But let's discuss our next archetype, which are the religious figures, such as monks, priests, pilgrims, and other such characters. Now, throughout my history of training protagonists such as yourself, I've had a mixed experience with these characters, some helping, some saving, and others still being the direct cause of downfall for many protagonists, regardless of the setting. So be very careful, my dear, when dealing with monks and priests, etc. Some are good, some are bad, and some are actually pirates in disguise who secretly intend to raid you. It's up to you to use your discernment as a protagonist to determine whether you are facing a character of Magdavea tier benevolence or a Claude Frollo level of tyranny. Are we clear on all of that?
Yes.
Then let's move forward. Let's go on to our next archetype, eccentric old men. Now, these characters are a particular favorite of the agency due to their strange habits, enduring quirks, and above all, their heart of gold. Many protagonists have met great success with the help of their eccentric neighbors. Though it must be noted that this is not a fast path to fame, my dear, but instead a long process of learning to look past the strangeness on the surface to find the kindness within. In fact, many protagonists spend a majority of their ballet fearing, ridiculing, or even abusing these unfortunate old men, only to find out that in a sudden twist of fate, or should I say plot, that their eccentric neighbors are actually a defining moment that brings about their eventual happy ending. They almost always seem a little scary or at least crazy at first, but if you look beneath the surface, there's almost always more to be found. And besides, you never know when you'll need them. So in short, always treat your eccentric neighbors with consideration for the plot, or really any elderly characters in your ballet, especially our next archetype, the frail old woman. Now, if the eccentric old man is more than meets the eye, then the frail old woman is even more so than that. As most frail old women almost always turn out to be a witch, a sorceress, or an enchantress in disguise. You must always treat them with respect if you don't want to provoke any additional curses on yourself. Take James, for example. Had it not been for his blatant disrespect towards Madge, he would have stood a chance of surviving his ballet. But of course, he didn't. And that one mistake alone sealed his fate, and he eventually met his tragic demise. Which is of course a great shame, but he did go on to become a very successful protagonist despite it, or maybe because of it, and is still enjoying his place in the repertoire as we speak. However, for you, with your objective to not die, I would highly advise against this option, so be very careful and very respectful of all of the frail old women you meet.
Careful and respectful.
Got it. Exactly. But as you've learned from our last lesson, remember to never accept gifts from them, especially not flowers. That one will certainly result in one of two things: death or eternal sleep, which for you are the exact same thing, seeing as you don't have a handsome prince to wake you up after 100 years. Any questions?
No, I don't think so. Extras are irrelevant, should be respected. Men in capes are generally bad. Religious figures, you should use your discernment. Eccentric neighbors are not always as they seem. And frail old women should always be respected and feared unless you have a handsome prince that can help you out of any potential curses, which I don't.
Well, speaking of handsome princes, there has been a growing discussion amongst management.
What?
Listen, my dear. I, as your agent, am fully aware of your wishes to remain unmarried throughout the entirety of your ballet. And I myself have gone to management on multiple occasions to advocate for your preferences, but I'm going to be very frank with you. The agency is putting their foot down. The protagonist industry is highly competitive, and they can't afford to lose you as a protagonist. So they have decided you're going to need a love interest to prevent or help you out of any disaster you may inevitably get yourself into.
Was this because of the Reese's?
Not exactly. Although the peanut allergy was brought up once or twice. The agency has already made arrangements for said prince to meet you.
I mean, how am I going to be able to tell my handsome prince from any other regular stranger?
Oh, you'll know him when you see him. The light should turn blue and you'll hear harps in the background. In short, the entire atmosphere will shift dramatically. It's impossible to miss it. The agency should be sending a handsome prince to your doorstep sometime next week. So make sure you keep an eye out for him and don't miss him.
It was definitely, sorry, cargo shorts and a shirt that said aloha.
Action! Ahem. Episode 4, let's go.
Let's go.
All the lights are on, right? What about his face? Did he have any prominent... Sorry.
He had a nose.
Prominent. Very prominent.
He definitely had facial features.
I'm never gonna get through this. You must treat them with respect. If you don't want to accumulate, or what's that word? Not attract.
Yeah, like bring
or like.
You don't want to.
If you don't want to.
Attract.
It's not induce. It's not attract. It's not.
Gather, assemble, Accumulate.
Oh, provoke.
Provoke.
That's a word. Magdavea Tear Benevolence. Yeah, in our Real Bayadere video, everyone was like, Magdavea was the star of the whole ballet.
Literally, he carried.
He carried everything. He was like, you know, a guy's guy.
A guy's guy, yeah.
He was a guy's guy. Yeah. Shout out to all of the Magdaveas in our lives.
Yeah. That garish Hawaiian.
This is my favorite line, I think. That garish Hawaiian garb is the only reason you are still alive. There it is. Now it all lines up. As a matter of fact, now that we're kind of going into summer, our chainsaw neighbor's actually been going ham next door. So he sends us greetings. Let's say that. He's quiet right now, but yesterday, gosh, let's just say we were glad we weren't filming yesterday. Should you refuse their attentions, which you likely will if you're smart.
Oh wow! I did not expect that. That's everything.
That was not scripted.
That was not part of the script, you guys. I like that though. Can we keep that?
Okay. She wants to keep it.